Last episode, Anthony Gordon and Mo Salah's poor run of form sent alarm bells ringing through Anfield, and whilst the rest of our attack is finally clicking into gear, are our Champions League demons from last season starting to rear their ugly heads again. And we're starting off this episode with the curious cases of Mohamed Salah and Anthony Gordon. Despite scoring his one and only Premier League goal so far this season with a last-minute winner against his former club Everton, since joining from Newcastle for a whopping fee of £40 million, the young man just hasn't seemed to hit the ground running. He's only 25 years of age, he's 6 foot and he's 85 rated overall, soon to be 86, and he has all the attributes necessary to be a success here at Liverpool Football Club, but is the weight of expectation just too much on the young man's shoulders? And with so many players on my shortlist waiting in the wings to potentially come in and replace the young man, I've got a big decision to make about his future at the club. Does he deserve one more shot to try and establish himself in my starting 11, or should I just cut my losses, get rid of him and sell him to the highest bidder? Let me know down below in the comments what you think. As for Mo Salah and I, we've certainly had our ups and downs since the very beginning of this career mode. We fell out after the very first training session, after which he came marching into my office demanding to leave the club on a free transfer. But after season 1 progressed and with a little bit of talking round, he did change his mind and wanted to continue at Liverpool Football Club. But with time waiting for no man, and with age and poor form starting to catch up with the Egyptian, and with him only having 4 months left on his contract, I've got a big decision to make over his future. And with him continuing to want to be an important player here at Liverpool Football Club, and me not really believing that he has what it takes to hold that role any longer, I've decided that I think it's now time to call time on Mohamed Salah's Liverpool career and close the curtain on what has been a sensational story here at Liverpool Football Club. And with his contract expiring in 3 months, the Egyptian will be leaving the club on a free transfer. It's a momentous occasion, but once again it's an opportunity for some of these other players to try and step up in the big man's absence, or once again it's an opportunity to try and replace him with a big name replacement. Let me know down below in the comments who you would like to see in a Liverpool shirt, or who you think is the long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah. But now though, we have more pressing matters to deal with, because it's time to return back to Anfield and time to return back to the Champions League, because after a shaky start against Galatasaray in the first leg of the knockout rounds, being very lucky to escape with a 0-0 draw, we're bringing them back home, and this is our chance to progress to the next round. As you'll see, it is the usual starting 11 now, with Jota and Chiesa establishing themselves as my number one choice wide players. The only big change is that Kwanzaa comes in as Konate's running on fumes. A big game calls for a big performance and calls for absolutely no mistakes here today. We made plenty of mistakes that were not punished in the opening leg. We cannot afford to make the same ones here today, because if we do, we are potentially going out of the Champions League. It's Zaha though, the former Crystal Palace man, who picks it up once again. Alexis McAllister in the right place at the right time. The unsung hero so far in this career mode, but what a ball from James Ward-Prowse once again. Federico Chiesa in the box, looks to loop it over for Victor Boniface. Can't get on it. Gakpo, oh my goodness. I thought he was about to nestle a bicycle kick into the top right-hand corner, and it just went inches over the bar. What a start to the game that could have been. Zaha gets it back from Dimabe, and Zaha has space now, but he's blocked off by Trent. Goes back to the central midfielder, Hakim Ziyech, another former Premier League player, plying his trade out in Turkey once again. Zaniolo dinks it over to Kern, the left back now. Lovely ball through the channel into Wilfried Zaha, twisting, turning, trying to get away from Trent. Does get away from him. Alexis McAllister though is in the right place at the right time once again. Federico Chiesa though now, the Italian, has the pace and the space to run into down this right hand side. He's looking for Victor Boniface to make his run into the box. Instead tries to look for Cody Gakpo. The cross is too deep though, and in the end it's easy for the goalkeeper to clear. Yilmaz trying to go one-on-one with Andy Robertson. He's got the beating of pace of the Scotsman, and he can't quite keep up here. Defensively, the Scotsman is normally very, very good. He did recover well, but he was almost beaten there by the right back. They do have a corner that it is that man, the right back, to take. He's going to swing it into the penalty spot. Looks like he's going to be headed away by Fikayo Tomori. Only out as far as Javier Slager into Davinson Sanchez, who forces Alisson into his first save of the game. James Ward-Prowse once again looks to float a ball over to Jota. Does float a ball over to Jota. Victor Boniface. As soon as I played the ball, I knew he was offside. Alexis McAllister tries to thread it through. That's a wonderfully threaded through ball into Chiesa, who finds Gakpo. Gakpo is going to look for Jota again. He's offside. Boniface blocks. Gakpo wins it well and plays it into Chiesa. Chiesa in the centre. He finds, Victor Boniface, who's through here. And the big man gives us a 1-0 lead with 5 minutes left of the first half. Well, after making 2 deep runs that just strayed offside, finally the timing is right. And who else is it going to be but the big man, the £60 million man, to step up once again when I need him to and rifle a strike into the bottom left-hand corner to give us a 1-0 lead. Well, I'm losing count of how many goals this man has scored so far this season. And not just how many goals, how many important goals at pivotal moments he's scored so far this season. The second half begins and it is 1-0 Liverpool. If we could hold on here, that we are famously not very good at doing, then we will be able to proceed to the next round. But I've got to be honest, just for my own sanity, I feel like we need to score a second. Chiesa looks for the ball through to Cody Gakpo. Victor Boniface is making the run. He couldn't be found. It was well blocked off, though, by Javier Slager. It is Wilfried Zaha now on the edge of his own half. Plays it into Hakim Ziyech, though. James Ward-Prowse comes across. Ever since he's joined the club, he and Alexis McAllister have finally created a central midfield fulcrum that has been the absolute spine of this team over the last couple of months. Galatasaray have got a corner, though, and it's a short one. It's not a short one. The dummy thrown into the box. Jota wins his head, and it's nodded down once again by James Ward-Prowse. The Portuguese Jota wins it, and now plays it forward into Chiesa. And the Italian now, look at the space he's got to try and see if he can burst into here. The Italian, all the way he goes, waiting for one of the big men to get into the box. He finds one in Victor Boniface, who took it with his left. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting that. And in the end, it was a big chance wasted. Yilmaz into Dimabe, no one picking him up in the centre there. Where on earth are Alexis McAllister and James Ward-Prowse after me singing their praises? They've gone missing in the centre of the park. Now it's Hakim Ziyech once again, plays the ball through into Zaniolo. Alisson's coming out, and he just about gets there. Cody Gakpo looked to play it down the right-hand side, well intercepted by the left-back. So far this game, we're still hanging on here. Neither of these two teams able to create any clear-cut chances, but Wilfried Zaha's going to look to try and see if he can make a change to that right here, right now, on the left-hand side. Dummies past Trent, throws the ball to the back post, into the right-back, Yilmaz, who plays it across. Alisson saves, though, at the near post, but it will fall to Jota, and look at Jota go. Jota all on his own here, into the box he goes, looking for Gakpo. Once again, it was blocked. Aris Yilmaz, only a couple of minutes plus stoppage time left remaining on the clock here for the Turkish team to somehow try and see if they can fashion a clear-cut opportunity, but with Fikayo Tomori blocking their path and playing a wonderful ball out to Federico Chiesa on the right side. The Italian will try and see if he can take it all the way, but he doesn't need to because the referee calls time. Well, it was a shaky performance, but we just about to manage to get over the line. A tight affair over the 180 minutes, but it's one that we get the job done in. It finishes here 1-0 at Anfield, courtesy of that man's goal, and we cruise through to the next round. But before I go any further, it's now time for a shameless plug. After hitting 5,000 subs, I've decided to create a Patreon account, link in my bio in the video description. I'm hoping to bring you lots of different types of content this year, so if you are enjoying the channel and would like the chance to feature more regularly in my videos, any support would be greatly appreciated and go a long way to helping me create better quality content more often. Thanks everyone. And after getting that all-important victory, it means that we have been drawn in the quarters against a very winnable tie in AS Monaco. Speaking of ties though, I've got to be honest, I've not really been paying too much attention to the FA Cup after simming a game in pretty much throughout the entire competition, beating Nottingham Forest 3-1 in the third round, then going ahead and managing to get past Norwich 2-1 in the fourth round, then getting through to the fifth and beating Leicester City. Are we potentially overlooking our first opportunity of silverware this season? And that is why, with our next tie being drawn against Arsenal at the Emirates, I am taking matters into my own hands to try and see if we can claim the FA Cup and our first piece of silverware in this career mode. No surprise to the starting 11, with Konate now fighting fit once again. He comes back into the starting 11. Other than that, it's no changes. So once again, another big game, and once again, another knockout tie, and once again, another opportunity for us to not make any mistakes, and another opportunity for us to cruise through to another round of a cup competition here as Victor Boniface waits for the run of Chiesa, finds him, he throws it in, looking for Cody Gakpo at the back post though, but it's well read by the goalkeeper. David Raya cuts through my attacking press like a knife through butter really well there, and that's a wonderful ball through to Martinelli, who is just straight offside. Into Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister trying to see if he can find Andy Robertson on the left-hand side. Instead, went for the audacious pass to Diogo Jota, but couldn't quite find him here. Arsenal once again playing with fire at the back, playing it short, but doing a really good job of beating this Liverpool press. We've got to be more organised with our press if we want to try and get the ball back off of Arsenal in those promising positions. Got to remember that Arsenal are a top-tier club here. They're not the same Arsenal that they were only a few years ago. To James Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse loses in a central area, but Jota picks up the scraps. Plays in Victor Boniface, who loops it right the way over to Federico Chiesa, spreading the play as wide as he possibly can here to try and introduce some new runners. And Victor Boniface introduces Trent into the box here as Victor Boniface tries to get his head on it and throwing balls into the box. But so far, clearly that tactic is not quite working out for me. DeMarco. Oh, nice pass into Marino, and Vlahovic now wins it. for Arsenal, but once again Alexis McAllister with the block, only out as far as Martinelli though. Konate picks it up and Konate then loses it to the Brazilian. Martinelli across into Vlahovic, who forces Alisson into a flying save. Trent into Konate, looking to play out from the back ourselves here to try and unlock this Arsenal defence, and that's a good ball through into Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo looks for the ball out to the right-hand side to Federico Chiesa. He finds the Italian, and the Italian takes it on and looks to try and see if he can play in Victor Boniface. The big man, though, shrugged off of it, though. Martinelli for Arsenal, trying to ghost down the left-hand side. He's gone past one, he's gone past two. Really good stuff from the Brazilian, and when he had the option to play it forward, instead decided to go backwards and decided to beat his man once again for good measure, but this time Konate is equal to it. Good defending. Cody Gakpo looking to release Victor Boniface. He does release Victor Boniface, and finally now we have the chance to get into the box here. The big man is through. The big man takes his chance, and once again, who else is it going to be to give us the lead right on the stroke of our time? Victor Boniface does the dance once again. How many times this season have we seen that? Time after time I've been looking for that ball through, and time after time I've not been able to do it, but finally at the umpteenth time of asking, Victor Boniface is able to get through, shrug off the challenge of the defenders, and find a sweet strike into the back of the net. Arsenal down 1-0 at home. Lazari, that's a nice pass into Saka, and Saka stayed on side here, and Saka has got the wherewithal and the pace to play it into Vlahovic. What a driving strike, but straight into the path of Alisson, who just palms it out for a corner kick for Arsenal here, and it's one that they're going to take long. It looks like they're going to try and whack this one into the penalty area. They do, into the penalty spot it goes. Bremer, the centre-back. My goodness, Alisson is absolutely world-class. Well, he kept us in the game against Galatasaray. He's kept us in the game with 3 monster saves here against Arsenal, and Alisson once again proving his worth as our #1 goalkeeper. Tomori plays it down the centre into Victor Boniface, who looks down the left-hand side into Jota, and Jota now can try and see if he can play it forward into Cody Gakpo. He finds the Dutchman, who almost found the back of the net. First corner of the game here for Liverpool. 51 minutes on the clock, right at the beginning of the second half. It's thrown in for Cody Gakpo, who made the run and tried to just play it into the path of one of my other attackers, but couldn't quite find them. Tomori, that's a nice pass into McAllister, who releases Federico Chiesa, and the Italian's in now. The Italian looking to loop it into Victor Boniface with his head, ends up dragging his wide. Konate, McAllister into Trent, out to Chiesa into Cody Gakpo. This is really, really nice stuff here from Liverpool. Cody Gakpo gets a little bit lucky with that bounce though, and feeds it back into this man Victor Boniface. Takes it away from one, tries to take it away from two. He just tried to flick it into the back of the net with his right. Perhaps he would have been better served to take it with his left, and it's a big chance that's missing once again. Robertson into James Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse into Cody Gakpo. Lovely little touch and turn away from the defenders. Cody Gakpo looks to feed it into Federico Chiesa. Does feed it into the Italian. Looks to play it into Victor Boniface. His head is wide again. 20 minutes to go. Once again, it's time to ring the changes to inject a little bit of freshness into this team to see out the final few minutes of the game. David Raya. These Arsenal players, this Arsenal defence, really a living life on the edge here. Just playing it around inside their own penalty area. But once again, they've managed to evade the Liverpool press and find their way into my half here with Declan Rice. Lazari being forced back though. He was looking for the ball into Saka, couldn't quite find it, and eventually at the second time of asking he does. That's a lovely loop pass that has taken Melvin Bard, the substitute, completely out of the game. It's a ball thrown in to the path of Vlahovic, who's just straight offside. Well, that was good play, very good play from Arsenal, and it's a warning sign that this game is not done, especially with it just being 1-0 to Liverpool, as Victor Boniface now plays it forward into the path of Darwin Núñez. He has the chance now to put the game to bed. What a save from David Raya. Anthony Gordon picks it up, and oh my goodness, that is a reflection of just how poorly the young man has been. As Rice now picks it up, threads it through back into the Englishman Saka. Lazari into Saka. This is Arsenal's last chance here. He goes past Tomori like he's not even there. Konate comes across, and Konate with a wicked last-ditch defensive challenge, and the referee calls time. Well, my goodness, just how important was that challenge by Konate, and just how important was that 1-0 victory for Liverpool. The smiles all round here at the Emirates for the away side as we take away a 1-0 victory at full time. It's another victory in a cup competition, and it sees us progress to the semi-finals. Well, we've got Stoke, and surely that means Liverpool are going through to the final, doesn't it? If we are going to, though, we're going to be relying on the goals from this man, Victor Boniface. An absolutely sensational start to life in a Liverpool shirt, but to my surprise, he's actually not our top goal scorer. Cody Gakpo is running him close with 12, but it's actually Diogo Jota in the surprise position on that left and right-hand side of midfield, really showing that perhaps those areas are more important and more valuable to that man, as he's chipped in with 15, but it's really good to see 3 3 of my attacking players already into double figures this season. But with 2 cup competitions down, it's time once again to turn our attention back to the Premier League, with us just being now 6 points behind league leaders Manchester City. And with us facing off against Anthony Gordon's former club Newcastle at Anfield, it's time to see if we can make it 3 out of 3 and claim a hugely important 3 points in the Premier League against Newcastle. And because it is against his former club, I've decided to give the former Evertonian a start here on the right hand side. You can also see a couple of changes with Boniface suffering a bit of fatigue. Nunez comes in, as does Murillo and Kwanzaa at the back. So here we go then, final game of the episode and a final opportunity to make a clean sweep here, but with passes like that from Andy Robertson, we're not going to be doing that anytime soon here, as Mbeumo for Newcastle plays it into Heung-min Son, the former Spurs man now plying his trade up north. Plays it back though into the path of McAllister. It's Andy Robertson who looks for Darwin Nunez. Plays it round the corner into the top goal scorer Diogo Jota, who can't get there ahead of Pedro Porro. It's Kwanzaa for Liverpool, the centre back, to bring it away, and plays it into Alexis McAllister. Looks to play it into Darwin Nunez. Has he stayed on side? No, he hasn't. Diogo Jota once again wriggling away from one challenge, playing it into Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez looks for Cody Gakpo with his left, takes it on. Good save. First corner of the game for Liverpool, and James Ward-Prowse will throw it in, looking for Darwin Nunez with the head. Oh my goodness, what a save, and it's cleared away off the line from Joe Linton. And Mbeumo though skips away from a couple of challenges, and the young man has the pace now to get away down this left hand side, but Kwanzaa comes across, really good defending. Murillo short into Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister now out wide into that man Anthony Gordon, plays it into Cody Gakpo, gets it back, and the Englishman now has the time to try and see if he can drive into the penalty area here. Into the box he goes against his former club. Oh my goodness, Anthony Gordon, from the talk of absolutely woeful form at the beginning of the episode to absolutely rifling a strike into the back of the net, and he's got a habit here of scoring against his former clubs. Well, he's only got his second Premier League goal in a Liverpool shirt, but my goodness, they are absolutely cracking goals. One against Everton, one against Newcastle, and this is the best of the lot. Look at that for a finish, looped it over the goalkeeper, and that just goes to show what the Englishman can do. Liverpool lead 1-0. Darwin Nunez wins it back though, gets it back from Jota. Darwin Nunez now was looking to play Gordon in, hopefully to try and see if he could get his second chance of the game, but it wasn't a good enough ball. Sandro Tonali out to Fabian Ruiz. Pedro Porro, another former Spurs man, now the right back, plays it into Fabian Ruiz, a PSG man into a former Brentford man, back into Fabian Ruiz, forces Alisson into a flying save. Good response from Newcastle, and they've got a corner here, and Mbeumo takes, dummies the short one, plays it in, looking for Joe Linton on the second time volley. Drags that one well wide though. Kwanzaa into McAllister, round the corner into Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon looks to play in Cody Gakpo. Turns around, feeds it into Darwin Nunez. Brilliantly worked from Liverpool here. And Darwin Nunez into the box he goes. Tries to find the back of the net. And he does just that. Absolutely incisive defence-splitting counter-attack from Liverpool. From back to front in an instant. And we've doubled our lead here at Anfield. Darwin Nunez on in place of Victor Boniface. Once again finds the back of the net. And he's proving to be an able deputy. Lovely finish. 2-0 Liverpool. Andy Robertson back into Jota. This is absolutely brilliant from Liverpool here. Darwin Nunez looking for Cody Gakpo. He was waiting for the run of Anthony Gordon, but he just waited until he's get back on side. Anthony Gordon looking to throw it back in for the big man Nunez. Can't quite find him. Will only go out as far as Cody Gakpo. Hopefully, no, Joe Linton gets there first. We begin the second half here. Liverpool lead 2-0, and we are well deserving of that 2-0 lead. We've been the better team in all departments, and whilst Newcastle have had a couple of chances, they're not chances that they've been able to take, but they're hoping to try and see if they can take this one as Pedro Porro throws it into the box. Alexander-Arnold though puts his header wide. Short one into McAllister. Once again, we're going to try and see if we can beat this Newcastle press as Gordon tries to see if he can get the ball into Cody Gakpo. He does find Cody Gakpo, and Cody Gakpo is looking for the run and finds the run of Anthony Gordon. An Englishman once again in the box waiting for the cut back into Darwin Nunez. Once again, it's absolutely electric, and is Anthony Gordon having the best game in a Liverpool shirt so far this career mode. Darwin Nunez will get the plaudits for his second goal of the game, but once again, it's fabulous play from Anthony Gordon, who laid on the assist on a plate for Darwin Nunez, who could not miss from there, just lifted it into the roof of the net. 3-0 Liverpool. Alexis McAllister wins it well though, and once again plays it into Cody Gakpo, and look how many runners we have. Darwin Nunez looking for the hat-trick. Oh, he's just put it wide. It's Sandro Tonali for Newcastle. In spite of them being 3-0 down, the heads have not dropped. They're continuing to press forward here, but Murillo is equal to it defensively. Offensively, it's been an absolutely wonderful performance, arguably the best performance so far in this career mode for Liverpool, as James Ward-Prowse floats a wonderful ball out to Diogo Jota, who looks to try and feed in Darwin Núñez. He does. Darwin Núñez into the box. Darwin Núñez over the bar. Canali, he's got Heung-min Son out wide if he can find him. Doesn't, instead decides to go to Alexander-Isak. Takes a pot shot from about 30 yards out, and that pretty much shows it is nothing but desperation for Newcastle in the last few minutes of the game. Kwanzaa. James Ward-Prowse in loads of space here to bring the ball forward, completely unopposed. Joe Linton tries to challenge, but James Ward-Prowse wriggled away from that challenge. Cody Gakpo into Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez has time to pick his man, instead goes back to James Ward-Prowse. We're just toying with Newcastle. We're playing with them. We're just showing our superiority and our dominance here as the referee says he's had enough and calls time. He put the Newcastle players out of their misery, but my goodness, what a fabulous performance from start to finish from everyone involved in a Liverpool shirt. That man Darwin Núñez gets 2 goals, so unlucky not to get his hat-trick. But for me, the biggest talking point is the performance of Anthony Gordon. Is he answering the critics, as he's helped us along to a 3-0 victory at full time? And it's a victory that sees us close the gap to City at the top now to just 4 points, and one that sees us end this episode with a clean sweep of victories. That will be that for the end of today's episode. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time.